all-encompassing, it's holistic, and it actually works.
Works, yeah.
It fixes the problems that people have, no matter what those problems are, because we're getting down to the root.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you a question that they'll ask in the comments then. If you really do have all this information that's so beautiful, it's so amazing, it helps so many different people, right? Why do you have to charge money for it?
Well, actually, I thought you were going to go somewhere else. But why do you have to charge money for it? One, it has probably cost me, in what I've learned and being able to decipher all of the things that everybody else can't decipher, it's cost me in excess of 150, 200,000 pounds. We're talking into 250.
What is that in like freedom units?
In freedom units, that's roughly about over 300. No, about 300,000 freedom units.
Yeah.
So, that's one. That's a lot of money, right? Two, it was the painstaking amount of time. If somebody goes and gets a block of porcelain or whatever, and sits there and chips away and creates, this beautiful statue of David, you're paying for their time. So that's another thing. But they're not the most important parts. The most important parts are this. People only put value on money. They don't put value on themselves. If somebody cares enough that they will put value on themselves, they now have skin in the game. And if they have skin in the game, they're going to do what needs to be done because they need to get their money's worth. And it's a really, really bizarre thing, that. Secondly, of course, I would love to do it for free. If I could do it for love, I would. But, I don't eat love, I eat food. And food costs money. So, I have to be able to fuel myself to be able to heal others. And it's the same with you. So we're now teetering, on a spoon, in the way that, yes, you need skin in the game, and yes, we also need to eat. If we could give it away for free, we would. But the difference is this: even if I went out tomorrow and I won the lottery, if I won the lottery, right, and it was 100 million, I never need to work ever again in my life, I couldn't give it away for free, or I could give it away. But it'd be like the people that I have tried to give it away to for free before.
No one.
Me and you have given it away 2 or 3, 4 times now.
Yeah, about four or five.
They didn't even open it. They didn't even open the program.
Yeah,
they didn't even look at the framework.
I can name them right now.
Yeah, I could.
And they're people that some of them I genuinely care about. Like most of them, are people that are close to us, and we're like, listen, like you're close to us. You got in on the ground floor. Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Here you go. I never got the notification that they even signed in with their email.
I think I did from one. I think I did from one of the people, but then they never. I looked.
You can look at the metrics on what they actually go through.
They never opened.
And it's not just about needing skin in the game, because that's the biggest part of it. Yes, but also you need to have enough pain in your own life to say, I'm going to make a change.
Yes.
Because if you have skin in the game and someone forced you to invest money in it, and you're like, well, I might as well get the best bang for my buck, still not going to matter if you don't actually want to make the change.
Well, that brings us to another unfortunate truth. And the truth, by the way, is for me also. I will live with it. I'll eat this one. Nobody is willing to make a change until everything really, really goes wrong. Mm-hmm. And that's really worrying. And obviously, I was one of them. I was one of the world's victims for that. And I'm more than happy to admit it. I have no shame in it. But I think for those of the people that are one step ahead of maybe even where I was in my way of thinking back then, and they're like, oh, I know that things need to change, I just don't quite know what they are. Our framework isn't something that you wait until you're screwed up to take, to then go, oh, I've now got this problem, so I should do that. If you're of the understanding where you know that things need to change, we are still very much the exact right thing for somebody to do, because they then stop the progression of something that could be later. It might stop that one domino that got flicked down. They'll sleep better, they'll perform better, they'll have more energy. And the great thing is if they live by our framework and prevent these things from happening at a later date, sometimes those around them might see it and they also might do it, and they can pass the knowledge on. I don't care what they do with the knowledge. They can tell anybody that they want. What, it stiffs us out of money? Well, we don't really care that much, to be honest with you. Somebody paid for it. You know what I mean? And they can pass the knowledge on, but they'll probably run into the same problem as us.
Yep.
You can't give it away for free.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes sense. So when you say you can't give it away for free, what even is it for the people that are watching?
So basically, the framework is based on behavioral psychology and cellular biology. It's actually it's revolutionarily smart without tooting our horn.
I'll agree 100%.
It's based on habit stacking. So essentially, what happens is you open up the platform and you'll just literally start week by week, and it's so easy that you just click on a video and a video opens up. The video is AI voiceovered in this wonderful British accent, and it takes you on an immersive journey through why things are the way that they are, why it's happening, and the knowledge of why, which is brilliant because they have to understand why before what to do. Otherwise, they become our subscription, and that's obviously not what we want. We want pay once, get what you should, live healthy, learn from it, right? And then after they've learned why in each week, they can click open what to do. Then they can sit there and look through it. What shall I do? What do I do? How do I combat the why? Here is what is recommended. Go and do those things. Brilliant, cool. And now there's no back foot. There's no resistance. Because instead of like, hey, go and stand on your head and eat a bowl of cereal, it's like, why am I doing that? It's like,
someone would try that. Someone that's desperate would try that. They would do it for 1 day, 2 days, a week maybe, and then they'd give up. But if they learn, listen, what happens inside of your body when you do a handstand and eat a bowl of cereal, like that actually cures you because this process gets triggered, and because of that, like then it makes sense.
They're like, fuck, I'm gonna keep doing it.
It's easier to stick to it.
Precisely, exactly, that's it. So and then it's just week 2, same. Week 3, same. Week 4, same. But it's been designed so smart that you don't realise that you're doing most of it. Because the one thing that I took in, and the one thing that I've spoken about before, is that changing your life is hard, and there's a lot of resistance when it happens. So what I did in mind using behavioural psychology is, what if we make it that nobody really ever realised it was hard? And that's where that comes in, and people start to habit stack, and the more they habit stack, the easier things become. And obviously you kind of get introduced into it nice and slowly, and then it starts to stack a bit more heavily. But by then, your body's processing things properly. You're getting the nutrients in that you're supposed to. Your sleep is better. Your head is clearer. You don't have as much anxieties. Your symptoms are already reducing, and boom, now the information starts to get heavy. And the heavier the information, the more you understand how to mitigate your own problems as it goes on. And this isn't a case of you live in this home and the rules only apply. It's like you've learned so much by the end of it that you could move to the other side of the world into a completely different climate with completely different food, completely different agriculture. Everything could be different, and you can still go, I can adapt to that, because you understand life. You understand the world. You understand what everything is doing to you at all points. And one thing I'll add is, and you know this very, very well, so does my wife especially, is that it's a blessing and a burden. And that's not to make somebody go, oh no, I don't want it, because burden sounds bad, but it's a blessing in the fact that you now know how to be the healthiest version of yourself no matter what, no matter where you are, right? But it's a burden in the fact that you now can see the problems of everybody else.
Yep.
And the old version of you, and you look back and think, fuck, like that's actually wild. And instead of walking through and going like, oh, those sweets look nice, or that cake looks nice in that person's shopping cart, or those sodas or whatever they might be, you walk past, you're like, and then you'll start to scan them, and you'll start to look at them, and you go, rosacea on the cheeks, that's the seed oils. So it's actually amazing because it opens the world up to what it really is. And at that point, it can be a burden, but it's a blessing because you appreciate everything else that happens from that point onwards.
It's true. And I think it's important to note as well that this framework is for everyone. This isn't just for people that have a label on their problems, or, it isn't just for people that have chronic fatigue syndrome or, autoimmune problems or whatever. Yes, it will help get rid of those because we get down to the root, we get down to the cell, the mitochondria. But really, this information is just how everyone is supposed to live in the modern environment that we live in. How to play defense against everything that's attacking us now in this world that we were not created or evolved to live in.
Yeah, it's a preventable measure. It's like future-proofing yourself. Because if you don't want to have those chronic illnesses or anything else later on down the line, then follow the framework. And then you're very likely never ever going to experience any of those things ever again.
That's why it's the worst business model ever. Because
Yeah.
once you know the information, we don't get paid again, which we're totally fine with.
Yeah.
Once you know the information, you can take it and you can prevent anything else, or something else pops up that's completely separate to the issue that you originally wanted to solve. Then you know how to fix that, because it all goes down to the root. What's your body made up of? Cells. What's running your cells in your body? Your mitochondria. Once you optimize your cells and optimize your mitochondria, that's as deep as you need to go in order to get your body to a state where it can perform as it should be able to perform and how it was designed to perform, but how it's not able to perform in the current state because it's not given the right environment. And it's not difficult things either. Like, people put labels on things. They're like, oh, I don't want to change my life. I don't want to go, so extreme that I got to go carnivore for the rest of my life, or whatever. It's not difficult in terms of the things that you need to do. It's just the knowledge of what you need to do and why you're doing them. That's it. I talk to so many people that are like, yeah, I already know, like, a lot of the stuff that you guys post on Instagram, stuff like that. I already know about seed oils. I already know about, like, blue light and stuff like that. But just because you have all of the puzzle pieces on the table doesn't mean that you know how to actually put the puzzle together.
It's the implementation. That's what everybody lacks. A lot of people do have the information. A lot of people do. Well, I wouldn't say, maybe a handful. But it's the implementation that they're missing.
Not altogether as well. Like, a lot of people have, like I just said, the puzzle piece over here and the puzzle piece over there and the puzzle piece over there, but they don't know how to actually put it together through the implementation. That's the goal. And when you don't do it in a specific way, like we've designed it with behavioral psychology in mind, in actually learning the framework of how to approach this, then it's very, very difficult to put it all together. So even if you do avoid seed oils, that's good. But that's just one piece to the puzzle. That's just one thing in this giant pot of the approach that you actually need to take in order to be metabolically healthy, in order to live the life that you need to take.
Precisely.
So there's a lot that goes into it, and it's very nuanced, which is why it took us forever to create. We were literally sitting there for months, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I did a pretty good job of extrapolating and extracting everything out of your brain that needed to be extracted, at least to create the baseline iteration.
Yeah, considering I'm insufferable as well. Like, I am insufferable, and I do know that. Like, I do know I'm insufferable at points. Like, no, that's not quite right. That's not exactly how the electron transport chain works. You're going to have to do that again from the beginning. You're like, fuck you, Joe.
But that gave us the finished product, and that gave us the ability to speak to people in a way that is all-encompassing. It's holistic, and it actually works.
Yeah.
It fixes the problems that people have, no matter what those problems are, because we're getting down to the root.